Today we're going to take a look at doorknobs. The important part of getting in and out of your house is the doorknob, so you want it to work right. Well, this doorknob has had some issues with it. The lock has gotten a little stiff. Sometimes you have to jiggle it and hold it in the right position and rotate it for it to actually work. And we use this door probably more than any other door in our house. So this one is particularly kind of an annoyance when it doesn't work. We're going to take it apart, we're going to look at the inside, see if we can see what's making it stiff, if we can fix it. If not, we'll have to look at other options. This is a look at the doorknob, not the one here. In fact, this is a different model, but you can see the locking mechanism is on here. Keys on the outside. This is an exterior door with a key lock, and turn it, lock it, unlock it, it stays open. Lock it, it doesn't lock. You can do the same thing on the inside. And that's with this doorknob. This is the part that's been acting stiff, and it's annoying. It still works, but it's acting stiff, so we're going to take it apart and swap it out. Most doorknobs come off with just 2 screws, and that's the case for these. On the deadbolt up here, you can see you have to turn it there, and then you can take the screws out here if we were going to deal with the deadbolt. Deadbolt's not an issue. We're going to take the doorknob off and see if we can see on the inside what's causing the issue. If we can fix it, great. If not, I've got a plan B. So, 2 screws. Most of the time, your doorknob screws are going to be a Phillips screwdriver. Now on this particular doorknob, I'm actually fortunate because it comes apart fairly easily. Now, if I take it apart before I've opened the door, I may not be able to open the door and get on the outside. I've loosened it, I'm going to open the door. This particular doorknob has a feature where you can rotate the doorknob and it comes off pretty easily, which is nice. Otherwise, you have to unscrew the screws all the way out to get the back half off. But this one, I don't have to do that. So, with this one, then I can take this part out with the screws still in it, and now I've got both halves of the doorknob off that quickly. And now if you look, you can see that feature I was talking about where I can just rotate that, slide it over, and it latches behind. Then the screw is actually held. I can tighten it up from this side, and I don't have to unscrew it all the way. Kind of nice feature. Johnny, this is a little bit of a redneck repair because I'm not really fixing the issue if I can't figure it out on the inside. But we're going to take the doorknob off of this one and just swap it for the other one. And then I move my problem doorknob to the door that gets used a fraction of the time. There we go. Sometimes you have to push the end in there. And now I've got this one off. So now I'm just going to go swap this one that works well with the one there that is actually stiff. They both work, but then I'm putting the one that has a problem on the door that gets used 5% of the time or less. Time to go back on, and we're going to switch our problem door to the one that gets used least often out here in the garage, in the man cave. Alright, so you just put it back on, tighten it back down, and these 2 little screws on the side, just need to snug those down until they feel good and tight, but not too tight. When you do one side, you're going to want to switch and make sure the other side is also snugged up, because if you snug up one, the other side might have felt tight before, and then it may not after, until you got them both about the same. Now, like I said, this one still works, but it's the one that has a little bit of a glitch. So I'll put it out here on the door that doesn't get used very often. This is a little bit of robbing Peter to pay Paul, but this will make the high-use door have the knob that actually works better without me having to buy another knob. So all we have to do now is put it right back in. And this goes in fairly quickly. that through. This back side with that twist option latches it in, and then you can just screw it down. Now, not all doorknobs are the same. So this one has that quick latch mechanism that lets me do most of the screwing it in before I've even put the outer doorknob on. I'm snugging this up on each side, just like I did out there. So they're pretty good. All right, test it, close it, lock it, unlock it, and it works. So now I've got the good doorknob on the high-use door, and I won't be annoyed by that problem, and I probably bought myself some more time with that one too. Let me show you the difference on the screws. This is a different style of doorknob. This one has screws that I can't do the twist to get them out. You actually have to unscrew the screws all the way in and out from outside of this half of the doorknob. So they're machine threads. They unthread pretty easily, but they're long. And so they take a while to do that. And normally you have to do that. Now the other thing is, it's usually at an angle because you've got a doorknob in the way. Sometimes you can take the handle off. Bathroom doors usually have a little spring in here. Push it in, pull the doorknob off, and then you can get straight at it. Exterior doorknobs often are like this, where it's just too much of an angle, so you kind of have to keep separating it as you go to make sure that you can, well, to actually access it, because you have to do it at an angle because the doorknob's in the way. And maybe do one side a ways and the other side a ways, and then you can pull it up a little bit more and so forth. So these are a little more work to do this type of a doorknob than this one that has that rotate it and lock it in position and then just snug it down. But either way, they're not that difficult to do. Now you know how to change out a doorknob.
He's giving him his what everybody needs to know about being a man speech.
All right, Johnny, now you know a little bit more about doorknobs, that they're not that hard to replace. If you ever need to put another one in, it's pretty easy to do. Go buy it, usually just 2 screws. If you have to do the inside, the exterior doors, then there's 2 bolts here as well, and that's the whole doorknob that you can swap out. Now you know a little bit more about doorknobs, what it takes to change a doorknob, that it's actually quite easy. And if that's something you need to do, now you'll be able to do that. If you learned something, put it in the comments. Also, give me some ideas of what things you would like to see by putting those in the comments as well. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. But always remember the 2 lessons I want you to get out of every episode. You can succeed growing into manhood even though your dad is not part of your daily life. And number 2, always remember that your stepdad loves you. Johnny, I'll see you on the next episode.
That was a good speech.
This is a little bit of robbing Peter to pay Paul, but can never have too many outtakes. Let's just start over. You're gaining skills that are practical, that are good. That are practical and that are good. This is the reason why this doorknob gets so much more use. He goes in and out all the time.